Glory to Jesus Christ. You can have a seat. Well, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but this is the halfway mark. We're halfway through the Great Fast already. In my math, that tells us we've done 20 days and 20 nights penance already. Maybe we have. I feel like one of the desert fathers who said at the end of his life, "I know not if I have even clutched at the beginning of repentance." And I think if we're being honest, all of us are in the same boat. And so we have this kind of feast right in the middle of the fasting. And this is this beautiful, joyful, overflowing beauty of the cross. What a weird thing to describe as beautiful or joyful. It's an instrument of execution, for goodness sake. This was probably one of the most painful ways you could be put to death. And yet here it is, garlanded with flowers, with roses. If the greeting was real, you would smell basil. Basil is the Greek for king, basileus. So it's the king. We celebrate that it's the King of glory who chose this for us. Who chose to go through this for you and for me to show us his love. I remember seeing a beautiful display in a church once, and it was the cross of Christ. And I don't know how they did this, but they had a shroud that had real red roses pouring down it. And I think as an image of the love that was poured out for us on the cross, you can't do anything better than the rose. Because any time you try and pick one up, you quickly realize that the rose has thorns. And in our own little ways, all of us experience the cross of Christ. And all of us look at the cross in our own life and tremble. Lord, I really don't want this. Even Jesus said that. Lord, may this cup pass from me. May this chalice pass, but not as I will, as you will. Nobody wants to be crucified. And yet in the great mystery of our human nature is that all of us, in one way or another, experience the cross of Christ. Or, crazily, are called to choose the cross of Christ. You know, Pope St. John Paul the Great made an amazingly profound statement when he said, "Man and woman cannot find the meaning of their life except through making a sincere gift of themselves." It's almost like all of us are stuck chasing our own tails when we're left to our own natural devices. We're all running around in circles with questions, with problems, with internal issues, or external issues for that matter, that we just can't quite fix. And we navel gaze. We look at ourselves. We lick our wounds. We say, "Poor me." And yet in the gospel today, we hear Jesus say, "Anyone who wants to follow me must deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake and that of the gospel will find it." Stop trying to fix your own life. Stop trying to fix your own cross. You can't. But what you can do somehow is bring it with you as you go to follow him. You can't fix it, so you're stuck with it. But bring it along anyway. Bring it with you as you go to serve him in whatever way he tells you, in whatever way he calls you. And at the heart of all vocation, all calls from God, there's a call to make a gift of our lives, to give ourselves in little ways, in small ways, in big ways like the call to celibacy, a monasticism, a priesthood, or even marriage. You don't have to be married for very long to know that there's a cross involved. Those might be the crowns of kings and queens, but those are also martyrs' crowns as you give up your life for the one that you love. Indeed, in the wedding service, the husband is called upon in the epistle to give himself over for his bride, like Christ gave himself for the church. And if you want to know what that looks like, you don't have to look very far at all. So why is the cross a cause of joy? The hymns of the church today are full of joy. Your cross, O Lord, is holy. It pours out healing upon those who are weakened in their sin. Your cross is the wood that blossoms forth life. It is a fountain flowing with grace. It is resplendent with the light of the resurrection, bringing immortality to the world. See, if the Great Fast teaches us anything, if we've been even remotely trying over the last 20 days and 20 nights, we've realized that we can't do very much. We've realized that we need the one who did it all for us. The only reason you or I can in any way carry our cross or even put up with our cross is because he carried our crosses for us. He, the King of glory, freely chose the cross to bring healing to us, to our sin, yes, to our wounds, to our fallenness, to our selfishness, to our pettiness, whatever we need healing from, whatever would make us chase our tails, or whatever questions we can't seem to find an answer for. He never promised us an answer to questions, but he did promise that he would be with us always, even to the end of the world. So when we celebrate the cross, that's what we're celebrating. We're celebrating that he is with us. When we talk about joy in connection with the cross, we're talking about the joy of victory and triumph. What a weird victory and what a weird triumph. But is God himself surrendering himself to a cruel death for you and for me. That's how our victory is assured, so long as we hold on to him and hold on to his cross, on which he opened his arms wide and chose to die for you and chose to die for me. It's an utter contradiction. It's not one that really makes sense, but let's try and embrace that contradiction. Let's try and embrace the joy of the cross. And I think that love is the key to making this nonsensical conundrum make sense. Because when you're in love with somebody, you will gladly give your life for them. Think of Sidney Carton and The Tale of Two Cities. Is it a far, far better thing I do than I have ever done? He was just a regular guy stuck in the throes of passion. It wasn't exactly the most saintly love, and yet he was quite happy to die in the place of someone who could make his beloved happy. Jesus died in our place so that we could be free, so that we could be healed, so that we could go to the heaven that we don't deserve. So let us be motivated by the same love that brought him to the cross. And as we're motivated by love, as we're motivated by care and concern for our brothers and sisters, we'll find ourselves praying for them a little bit more. We'll find ourselves doing acts of service for them a little bit more. We'll find ourselves wanting to spend a bit more quality time with them, whatever God calls us to, because love is the energy, is the motivation that enables us to accept the cross, just as it enabled him to accept the cross too. So let us rejoice in this holy cross, and let us come boldly, as the epistle tells us, let us come boldly to this throne of grace, so that at his cross we too may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need, because the King of Glory has won every victory we will ever need right there at the cross. Glory to Jesus Christ.